On today's episode of the DeRaud-Messinger Show, we make our Texas high school football Round 5 playoff picks. High school football fans, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. It's greatly appreciated. So to begin, Dylan, we have a rematch of one of last year's big playoff games. We have 6A D1, number 4 Duncanville versus number 3 Southlake Carroll. What do you think about this matchup?
Well, Devon, we're in for a powerhouse fight, that's for sure. I'm assuming the sparks are going to be flying. This is the game that a lot of people have been waiting for. Want to see how Carroll is going to attack this Duncanville defense and how Duncanville's offense is going to, take care of Carroll's, susceptible defense as well. So, which did play better against Allen, but there were still moments where, teams can still move the ball on them with relative ease, especially with this Duncanville running game. But, Devon, I'm going to be going with Southlake Carroll in this matchup. This was just a dominant. They had a win over a surging Allen team by a good margin. So not really ever truly in doubt in that game. This team with led by Katy Anderson and, as I just talked about, Owen Allen in the backfield. They can move the ball whichever way they want to. I think this offensive line is going to be in for a long day against this Duncanville defense that did allow 20 points to DeSoto, which was the most they've allowed in the playoffs. So they did show that they have some chink in the armor that you can maybe get through if you're the Carroll offense. But we'll see. That's going to be the matchup to watch, is that Carroll offense versus defense. But I'm going to be going with the Carroll offense to pull it off.
To be fair to Duncanville, though, DeSoto's been getting hot at the right time as well. And Duncanville had a nice win over DeSoto. Like you said, Carroll had a nice win over Allen. So both these teams have been looking pretty good entering this game. Obviously, Carroll won this matchup last year. So entering, Saturday, Duncanville's going to be trying to get that revenge game. But Dylan, there's been a little bit of rivalry and contention over the last couple of years. Last year's Carroll win was like the first time they've beaten Duncanville in at least a while. I know Duncanville would routinely bounce the Dragons from the playoffs. So it's going to be interesting to see. I believe last year, head coach Riley Dodge for the Dragons missed the game due to COVID. So it's going to be interesting to see that he's going to be able to be on the sidelines. And he's going to have a headache just trying to deal with Malachi Medlock, like you said. And then that Duncanville defense is something else. The key for Duncanville in this game, can they stop Owen Allen and force Katy Anderson to throw the football? Anderson has proven to be able to throw the football and do it just well. He got targets like R.J. Maryland and Landon Sampson. But you're going to have to force him to throw the ball in order to try to beat the Dragons. I think Carroll wins this one. They were my preseason title pick, Dylan, so I'm a little tied to that. But I think it should be a good game, and I would not be surprised if there's a little bit of an upset alert here. The next game we have, Dylan, 6A D1, number 19 Lake Travis versus number 7 North Shore. Now, against San Antonio Brennan, Lake Travis looked pretty good. Bo Edmondson had 322 passing yards and 2 touchdowns. It's nice to see him, pumping those numbers up now that we're getting to the playoffs, Dylan. But North Shore is a different beast. You got to face Denver Harris in the secondary, Christopher Ross in that defensive line, and their quarterback Caleb Bailey, a freshman, Dylan. A freshman in the playoffs starting, and running back Xavier Owens. They did just enough last weekend. I think North Shore wins, and it's in the Austin area. It's going to be in Round Rock, so there might be a little bit more Lake Travis fans, but I think North Shore will be able to get it done and make their way to a state title game.
Yeah, Devon, this matchup is weird because I picked against both teams last week to lose. So this is not the two teams I wanted to see, obviously, but I'm going to be going with North Shore in this matchup. Bo Edmondson looked great passing the ball for Lake Travis, and their defense, they looked solid against the San Antonio Brennan team that scored more than 50 points in each of their matchups in the playoffs as well. But, with North Shore's just, convincing win over a good team in Atascocita, and especially, like you just touched on, Xavier Owens with that offensive line from North Shore really just gashing the Atascocita defense. I got to go with North Shore in this matchup. I think Lake Travis's run ends here. Their next one, we got 6A D2. Number 2, Katy versus number 1, Westlake. Devon, this is a battle of titans. I know you've talked about off-air last week. This could be the deciding factor in the 6A D2 division. I'm going to be going with Westlake. They spanked the crap out of Vandergrift 70-7. 70-7.
Are you allowed to say that?
So, spanking?
Yeah, no, continue on.
Yeah, well,
They killed.
I'm gonna say it.
Yeah,
so they did
that's
kill
putting
him.
it kindly.
They
I
showed
think.
him. They showed him who's boss in that
They showed
matchup.
them
So
the door. Yeah.
Cade Klumnik leading this Westlake offense. That's just a whole nother beast. And this defense headlined by defensive end and commit to Michigan, Devon, Ethan Burke. So I'm gonna be going with Westlake in this matchup. It's gonna be a tough one. It's a tough one for Katy, especially held off a comeback bid against Summer Creek. So for this Westlake defense, look out for Seth Davis, but I think they're gonna be able to pull this off.
Yeah, is that why you're wearing the Michigan hat for Ethan Burke, I think?
No, not just that reason.
Yeah. Where does Westlake find these kids? Just 6'7" defensive end that gets an offer from Michigan, just comes out of nowhere. But, Burke, I saw their game last weekend. He had a good game. Pretty quiet on the stat line, but he was making his presence felt, had a sack, had a pass deflection. But, when you look at Westlake, in addition to that great defense, the offense is also there for Todd Dodge, Cade Klubnik, you got Jaden Greathouse, and really a lot more recruits. And that offensive line, probably the best in the country, I would argue, at least for public schools. And that's what Katy's dealing with. As you said, they struggled to get past Summer Creek last weekend, but we don't count out Gary Joseph on this channel. He could make things interesting in running back. Seth Davis has rushed for a little something, Dylan, 2,422 yards and 28 touchdowns. That's a lot, but ultimately, I think I'm going to have to go with Westlake, and it might not be as close as we think just because of how good this team is, but we'll see. Now we make our way to the lightning round, Dylan. Fast picks with ranked matchups. As always, the first game we have 5A D2. Number 5, South Oak Cliff versus number 4, Lubbock Cooper. I have Sock.
I have Lubbock Cooper. And next we got 4A D1, number 7, Wichita Falls. Hirschi versus number 2, Stephenville. Devon, I'm going with Wichita Falls in this matchup.
Okay, I got Stephenville. Next game we have 4A D2, number 3, Salina versus number 2, Gilmer. I have Gilmer.
I have Salina. Now the next one we got 4AD2, number 7, Cuero versus number 5, China Spring. Devon, China Spring is the team of destiny. Going with China Spring.
I have China Spring. In the next game we have 3AD1, number 3, Mount Vernon versus number 2, Brock. Brock's been killing people. I got Brock.
I have Brock as well. Now next one we got 3AD2, number 6, Lubbock Roosevelt versus number 2, Gunter. I have Roosevelt.
I have Gunter in this one. The next game we have 3AD2, number 8, Wascom versus number 1, Franklin. I have Franklin.
Yeah, I have Franklin as well. Next one we got 2AD1, number 3, Timpson versus number 2, Shiner. Devon, I will not be picking against Shiner this week. Going with Shiner.
I have Shiner as well. Next game we have 2AD2, number 5, Stratford versus number 4, Albany. I have Albany.
I have Stratford. And next one we got 2AD2, number 6, Falls City versus number 1, Mart. Devon, going with Mart.
I have Mart. You just don't pick against them. And who do you have in this round of the playoffs? Let us know down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and have a great rest of your day.